Hello and welcome to another edition of Forkful of Noodles. I am Krish Mohan. We go to battle with each other over whether we should be eating animals at all. Vegans and vegetarians launch their verbal barrages against carnivores at cookouts and throw gazpacho at their face. Look, cold soup might be refreshing in the summer heat, but when it gets in your eyes, it burns. Okay, like a lot. And I don't care if you didn't put any pepper in it, okay, Stephanie? Because right now, I have astigmatism because of you. We have some really interesting ways to treat meat as a species, particularly in the fact that we sexualize meat terms in our vernacular. You know, I went hog wild on that broad. She got the rat on my hog. She got some of that secret sauce from my Baconator. Ugh. We should definitely stop that immediately, okay? It makes everybody uncomfortable. Vegans, carnivores, and mostly pigs. Pigs don't want to be associated with the douchebag's mediocre junk, and they definitely don't want to be associated with your need to prove your masculinity. But nothing says dominance as a species like slapping a carcass that was grilled up on charcoal, thrown down on bread layered with vegetables and sauces, and consumed in an instant and washed down with a cold beer. And then you wipe away that little smudge and you make long, uncomfortable eye contact with your dog just to let him know, you could be next, Rover. Should we eat meat? I think so. I mean, it's just how nature works. Every animal eats other animals for nutrition. The Lion King called it the circle of life. Street vendors call it hot dogs. But the primary thing that sets us apart from all the other animals is the fact that we started cooking. Cooking released more nutrition, it took less time to digest our food, so we could do way more sophisticated things like sex for fun and coming up with meat sex-related puns and pontificate whether we should eat meat or not. The ethical aspect of why a lot of people are vegetarian, pescatarian, or vegan is because of the way we treat animals before consuming them. We raise animals particularly so that they can provide us with meat, milk, or eggs, lock them up in tight spaces and ensure the fact that they can't walk around so their meat stays nice and supple. And there's really no reason for us to do this. There's no justification except for the fact that we're being highly evolved dicks. But the Humane Method of Slaughter Act of 1978 clearly states that there are very nice ways that we can kill these animals. Like, you don't want to drag a disabled animal unless it's stunned, or don't kick the animal, which means that till 1978, people were just kicking cows and pigs and dragging them around like they were rolly bags at airports. It also gives guidelines on methods of stunning, like concussion. Great. Now we're treating cows and farm animals like they're football players. And another method of stunning is penetration. I mean, come on. Let the animal have a small shred of dignity. And if that's really your chosen method of stunning an animal, you should probably take it out to dinner first. A vegetarian one. And the irony of it all is when it sees what it's about to be penetrated with, it'll be far from stunned. I mean, going hog wild on hogs on the killing floor is far from humane. Now, the act also goes into how to use an electric wand and what position to have the animals when you're using specific tools on them and so on. But if we think that this is humane, we probably need to change the definition of the word humane. I mean, some of these tactics make the CIA flinch. I mean, we need to update this act and add a clause that says that these animals should have the Bible read to them and maybe get a nice last meal. Now, it's definitely possible to have farm-raised foods that aren't locked up. Let the cows live out its life. Let the sheeps and pigs run around. That's the only way they should be going hog wild. It's like a doctor talking to a patient with a terminal illness. They don't say that they're going to die, but they do say that they're going to make them as comfortable as possible. So let's just make these animals as comfortable as possible. At this point, farming is starting to become a problem in the ethics of meat lovers. I mean, technically, it was supposed to work in sync with the environment that we were going to use to farm on, but now we're just punching the natural environment right in the crotch. Farms are supposed to create an ecosystem where animals graze and fertilize the land, crops are rotated to keep the soil healthy, and bugs are used to clean up the waste. But industrial farms aren't doing any of that. Livestock is locked up, bugs are terminated, the soil is constantly used, and no crops are rotated. On top of creating a backwards ecosystem, factory and industrial farming create tons and tons of waste in the form of animal excrement. And for all that poop that just keeps piling up, they better get a lot of baggies to pick it up with, okay? Because if pranksters find their way onto factory farms, there will be an endless attack on neighbors with just flaming bags of poo everywhere, which is the strangest way to contribute to climate change from factory farming. Not only that, but these excrement contain heavy metals and salt that basically kill the soil because of the antibiotics and growth hormones they're putting in the food. But where are the anti-vaxxers on this one? I mean, they don't care that not only will this make autistic cows, but also autistic soil? Plus, industrial farming is releasing carbon monoxide, methane, ammonia, and a litany of other chemicals into the atmosphere, which is making the climate autistic. And the anti-vaxxers still have no issues with this. It's like they're denying all forms of science. Sustainable farms are the solution to this issue, where we can create an ecosystem, growing grass and crops for both us and the animals we're about to eat. We work in tandem with the land that's working for us. And this way, there will be a regular amount of poop that is produced by the livestock, and we won't be overrun with flaming bags of feces at our doorstep. Should we eat meat? Yeah, probably. Humans are omnivores, and it's how we made it to the top of the food chain. But we also have the gift of choice. A deer is not built to eat a raccoon, but we are. The ethics of eating that raccoon depend more on how it lived, did we need to eat it, and how we're planning on killing it. With farms, the idea was to grow food and share it with our community, including that raccoon. Now they've become these hellholes that are causing the world to burn, and we're losing friends because they barbecue over the summer. Just because we're at the top of the food chain doesn't mean we get to do whatever the hell we want to the other life on this planet. Because we're not always going to be at the top, and nature has a way of correcting itself. Eventually, when the whales or the birds take over, they'll most likely cage us. And I don't think they'll be having ethical debates about that shit. So we get what we deserve while they get to go hog wild on all of their freedoms. That's been your forkful of noodles for this week. Thank you for tuning in. I have live stand-up comedy dates coming up in upstate New York, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama. For all the details on those shows and ticket links, you can visit my website, RamenNoodlesComedy.com. That's RAMAN noodlescomedy.com. You can also subscribe to my Bandcamp at RamenNoodlesComedy.bandcamp.com to get exclusive stand-up comedy content every single month. And if you'd like to support all my DIY endeavors, you can donate to the Patreon at patreon.com/KrishMohanHaha. And you can always check out more episodes of Forkful of Noodles on this YouTube channel, and subscribe to my new podcast, Taboo Table Talk, on iTunes, Libsyn, and Stitcher. Thanks for getting into it.